turn down that volume of toxic noise. You're not listening and building and transforming and getting new thought patterns in your life. You're still listening to the old stuff that's filling up your mind. The bottom line and the issue today, I think, with a lot of, believers is they don't take this next step of renew.
Exactly, man. And I'm going to tell you this. 2 Timothy tells us we're called to live a holy life. Matthew 28:19 says to go ye out there and make disciples. So we're called to live a holy life. We're called to make disciples. As believers, when they say, I don't understand my calling in my life, and I'm just like going around in these circles in my mind because I'm looking for God to place me in a place to where I'm called. I'm going to tell you like this. When David's brothers, when they were taken to the sacrifice, when Jesse took his brothers to that little sacrificial thing that Samuel wanted to do when he was going to anoint the king, or anoint the next king, they left David at the house. David didn't even get to come. So David could have easily been in the little pity party, and he could have been like, oh, Dad took my brothers out to go see if one of them could be anointed king, but he left me behind. But no, what he did was he tended to the season that he was in. What I'm telling you is, tend to the season that you're in. God has placed you in this season. You are just called to live a holy life and go ye out there and make disciples. Do that in the season that you're in right now. And then everything else will be made plain to you. God is the lamp upon our feet, meaning he guides our footsteps. He don't illuminate the entire path because we might take off running and then forget him in the process. So you got to make sure that you continue to focus on the Lord, tend to the season that you're in right now in your life. And when you're tending to that season, what is God, one, trying to take out of you? And two, what is God trying to put in you? Stop getting so focused on what everybody else got. Stop being so focused on what you think you should have, because let's be honest, our perspective of what's enough for us may not look like what God thinks what's enough for us, because he knows how much we can reasonably handle in a responsible manner without killing the calling that he's placed in our lives.
I want to jump back into talk about, renew and remove. That's what we have to do with our thoughts. We literally have to destroy them and rip them out of us. If you look at restoring a house project, right? Like you see on HGTV, you have to, rip up the old carpet, remove it. You have to tear down the damaged drywall. You got to replace all the broken fixtures, like replace, not fix, but you're replacing. And you have to make sure the foundation isn't cracked. You got to seal up the cracks. And sometimes you rip it all down and start from scratch based on the foundation. That's all that's left. And you have to restore and build all that around that. And that is what that word, renew, restore means in this idea of transform. That's what Paul is talking about. And I think too many of us, we don't rip out that thought. We kind of just decorate broken thinking instead of demolishing it. We take, oh, look at this stained drywall and it's broken and it got holes in the wall around the windows. Well, let's just put up some new curtains and nobody will see, the rest. It'll distract everybody. And that's not what Jesus is getting at for our life. Jesus talks about to seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all this will be added to you. And all this in the context is the worries and the cares of this world, that God will care for you and you'll know his will and you'll be seeking his kingdom. Well, you can't do that if you're just decorating your mess. If you truly want to seek him and know his will for your life and your purpose, you got to rip out the old and start down these new processes. That's the only way that you're going to start overcoming addiction. It's the only way that you're going to start having attitudes and things maybe to help heal relationships in your life, things like that. How do you work better, smarter, harder through knowing Jesus, through following him? It starts with the mind. It starts there. If you don't renovate your mind like you would an old house and to restore it correctly, you won't ever walk in his purpose.
100%.